Good morning, good evening, and welcome to the webinar. Today we've got Mr. Rob Fortney in the house. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing good. Just arriving in wonderful Thailand this morning.
Yeah, and that artwork's growing. I can see on the back wall there. Looking good.
Yes. Yeah, look at my shiny. I'm gonna have to put some black tape on here to keep the shine.
Yeah, that is fun. Yeah.
Just off the camera now. There we
go. That's cool. That's cool. So, very good. We've got Dave that's joined us. How you doing, Dave?
Good. Good to see you guys.
Excellent. Excellent. Right. For anybody else that's hovering around in the background, a warm welcome. What we're going to do today is we're going to go over product search. And what we're going to do is we're going to use Jungle Scout. From there, we're going to jump into how to start your business on a budget via going through AliExpress and some of these other lower MOQ platforms like Banggood. So if you haven't heard of those two, we'll show you how to actually find products and source products on there.
And so the purpose of this today is to get you launched quickly, and to get you launched quickly, because we don't necessarily think if you've got $5,000, you should be spending $5,000 out of the gate at the first moment you do this, because and if you're learning with your 5,000, that's the only 5,000 you got, maybe a difficult process that, what if you fail? And I see people were, well, you're planning on failing. I don't think that. I think being realistic to think that there are learning curves and that there are going to be hurdles that come in your way that you just may not see, which could on one product failing. But I would rather you take and split it up in two products if you have $5,000, or start one and then later on come back and add another product if you have a problem on the first one, because you can always liquidate the product if you buy the product appropriately at the right price. And then what you want to do in the end is you add, you come back and go, okay, well, I'm gonna liquidate this, sell it at my cost, or maybe even if you spend $2,000 and you get back $1,500 and you still got $2,000, that leaves you $3,500 to make less errors on the second one. Now, do we have people, or have I seen people, who've come out of the gate and hit a home run? I talked to somebody yesterday on their first product in a super competitive environment. So does it happen? Yes. All the stars in the universe can line up for you, and you can do very well. And we can plan on that, as well as be prepared for the second possibility. So that's kind of why I think getting your feet wet quickly is super important. That's why we talked about the Kohl's video, which is start your Amazon business for 2 weeks, because I love that. And to date already, we just published that about video that I edited. We published about 3 weeks ago, and we're averaging 1,000 people a week who are watching this. So people are doing this and people are becoming successful, but getting a product up and launched on Amazon instead of thinking about getting a product, arguing or fussing with people in China over who, what, where, and when. You're able to go directly to a source and you're able to get it sent in to Amazon. You don't have to touch it. So you eliminate, 5 or 6 steps that are important. Well, I'm trying to think, not 5 or 6. You're probably eliminating 3 steps of not having to touch a product, not having to label it, not having to import it. So there's several things that you're cutting out of the puzzle so that you can go directly to get something on Amazon and get it up and selling right away. Now, the process that we're going to talk about today works very similar, except you're going to have to ship. Now, we're not talking about air freight typically in a large portion, or any boat fees, I guess is what I'm saying. Your people are used to arranging smaller amounts of shipping, because you're not going to deal with it. Because what we're going to talk about is guys that will sell us 50 of an item that we can do a little test with. Because it's the same as the theory of that we use in the Kohl's video, hey, go in there and spend $250. Let's get a product and ship it in. Now, the biggest difference between what we're going to talk about today and what we're talking about there is we're going to kind of look for a product that we see is on Amazon right now and selling, and then get that a very similar product or something very close to it and ship that in and see what happens when we do this. Now, we've had some people in the past who've done this and very successfully. We had somebody who did some bathroom items. They got them in, sent them to Amazon, started everything they did, and the next thing you know, guess what? They're selling products. And they went from a $350 investment to doing over $5,000 in sales a month at some point within about 90 days. So, and then they were able to customize the package, able to go forward and continue to move forward with that package. So you can have that opportunity as well by taking advantage of the method that we're going to show you today, which is AliExpress. I'll let Paul explain to you a little bit about AliExpress. Are you going to pull up Jungle Scout for us, Paul?
Yeah, I've got the web app loaded now. So let me share my screen, and then we can walk you through some of the attributes that we plug in to this web app, which will allow us to try and search for products, i.e. then go and switch over to AliExpress for sourcing. So let me go ahead and share my screen. Just let me know when you can see that, guys. That'll be good.
Look at Miss Cynthia.
Long
time no see.
Certainly been a few weeks. You can let me know when you can see my screen.
We can see your screen.
All righty. All righty. So for those that are not familiar with sort of the Jungle Scout web app, we're in the product. I'm not going to go run through this program, but we're in the product database screen at the moment. And it allows you to select the different categories that you would like to search in. And then you can actually start to put the filters in. So we'll do that. So to start with, let's have a look at the categories that we want to sell in. Now, obviously, we want to steer clear of those that we're not authorized to sell in, i.e. all of the gated ones, unless you are ungated in certain things, obviously. So we'll automatically go down, and we won't worry about various different things.
And the reason why we don't want to get into an ungated situation right now is not that you can't get ungated. Ungating isn't as complex as people make it out to be. Amazon's really not trying to keep you from doing lots of these categories. There are categories that are very hard to get into, jewelry, because obviously if you're telling people you're selling diamonds and you're selling cubic zirconias, they want to make sure that you have some track record that you've been doing that before. You know, so shoes and things like that. There are some things that take a little bit more time. You can get approved. I would suggest out of the gate, trying to do this experiment or this test run, is that you use products that are ungated right now.
Yep, absolutely. So what I've done is I've just gone through and picked the popular ones and steer clear of those are gated. So what we can do now is switch over on in the middle section over here where we've got the filters. So we've got the minimum and maximum on all of these filters that we put in, and on the price we say a minimum of $17 simply because there's not a lot of profit if you go anything less.
And now, just as a thought process, I'm having a little bit of difficulty. Can we go in a little bit closer?
Yeah, sure.
All right, there you go. Okay.
How's that now?
That's much better. And then make sure that actually what I want to do is I feel like I want to like look in, you can go through everything, but then I definitely want to spend a little bit of time in sports and outdoors and possibly in the fishing niche today. So just keep that in mind as we're going.
Okay. Well, we'll quickly whiz down a couple of pages, then we'll come back and sort of just have a look at sports and outdoors.
Okay.
Now, I'll tell you what, let's just jump in there straight away because this is going to bring up a lot of garlic presses and spatulas, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, okay. Right, well, let's stick with sports and outdoors. And again, Now we're going to have a look at the attributes that we're looking at. So what we say is between $17 and $50. So that's the minimum and maximum. The net, you can put this in, but so we tend to leave that out for the moment as we're doing the initial search. The rank.
Well, hey, Paul, one of the ways in which I do
Yes.
is that my minimum and maximum, or what I do is I make sure that I don't have anything that's not netting at least. You can put 70%. So I figure on 70% of 17, and then that's my lowest number I'm willing to go to, which will eliminate products that you're not going to do anyway. So that's a great way to pull your number down. So on the net, quickly take 70%, of 17, and that'll give you a number which your net needs to be.
All right, well, let's put that at 1275. That makes sense.
Yeah, that's one of those little tricks I did one day that I think help, and because obviously the idea here is to get to looking at products that quickly you can evaluate instead of spending hours and hours evaluating products and then deciding, oh my gosh, look, it's only netting, $8, and by the time I get fees, I'm done. So,
yep, breaking even or making a loss even in some cases I've seen. So.
And then out of the gate on rank, to me is what we're trying to find is so one of the strategies that we employ, which is to keep yourself in smaller, much smaller categories where you can sell well on the first, second, third page. And maybe all there is 5 pages. We really don't want you to have more than ideally 100, but I can expand that up to 150 to 200, but I don't want to be in any product category that has more than 200 people, because if it does grow to 200 people, I want there to be some room in there for me to continue to make my $1,000 a month per product. So ranking. So when we put the ranking in, the price in, what we're trying to do is we're trying to find this product that has these characteristics that are a lower rank, meaning they've got a rank of more than 10,000. So everybody's searching for stuff under 10,000. Everyone's searching for stuff that sells, makes them $10 profit. But let's make $2, $3 an item. And some people are going to say that, hey, that may not be advantageous if the pricing in that category. Well, the point is that we're going to be the lowest price by far. So we're going to be the people that come to us, not the other way around. Because if you sell, 30 items a day, all of a sudden that's 900 items a month. And if you even make $1 on it, that's $1,000. I don't care how you get to the $1,000 goal every month, which is make $1,000 and then, and then multiply that times 5. $1,000 in everybody's life changes a lot. So, and by the way, some of these things that we're talking about in here that we're using are things that really have evolved here in the last probably 2 months. Obviously, there's been some changes in reviews and things like that. So I've even come down and decided to even make it more strict, because the lower amount of sales, the less amount of reviews and such, give you a much bigger opportunity to go in there and compete with lower amounts of reviews out of the gate. And so that's the purpose today, is to look for products that in an environment where reviews, the way in which we can get reviews is a little more limited than it was prior. But I watched products in a category, in my category yesterday. I looked, and there were people that had lost 1,000 and 1,500 reviews off their listing. Well, that was good for me. They took off 1,500 of their reviews. There were people that woke up one day and had 1,500, and the next day woke up and they had 100. That's where, so ranking. So let's just start out higher. Let's look at this ways in which other people aren't looking at it. Let's look at ranks above 7,500 today. Matter of fact, let's just go above 10,000. Let's just start out at 10,000, Paul. Let's just see what happens when we go at 10,000.
All right, minimum 10,000. We like that?
Right. Yep.
Estimated sales. This is the number of sale units per month.
Care how many units to make, because if you sell 100 and I make 50, or you sell whatever. So I just use it as a revenue number, which gives me to where I am. Know that the net that I got coming out is minimum of the 1275. So I skip over estimating the numbers, because it doesn't matter if you're selling You know what I mean? It doesn't matter how many you're selling. It's the profit
Yeah.
margin that matters. So, so estimated revenue, because I want 30% of this revenue whenever I'm doing. So let's think about this. So the lowest amount of money we would like to make, to me, I don't want to mess with anything that doesn't put $500 in my pocket out of the gate. Maybe even the first one you might want to, but $500 to me. So if we take $500 times 3, so we don't want anything that's not doing, let's say, at least $1,500 a month in sales. Yeah, not 15,000.
No.
And then on the high end, let's go with things that are selling under $10,000 in sales a month. So that's a much smaller niche to begin with. You're starting out with a much easier capability to be able to find a product that's on page 4 now. And so because what we want is we want somebody on page 4 to be making a little bit of money, so we can go in and easily get on page, instead of thinking that out of the gate we're going to be product champions and sellers out of the first time we ever do this. Like, what is the likelihood that you're going to start a business that you've never done before, you've imported from China, and you are just going to slay everybody in there and end up on the front page? Well, to me, that's an unrealistic way to approach this business. And the way to approach a business to me is to get better and better with the least amount of risk, having the most possibility for your success, which then will give you more confidence that you're not trying to take on a guy that's got 2,000 reviews. Looking on the front page of products and saying, that's the product. I hear that often. Oh, yeah, I found my product. It's on page 2 or on page 1. It's number 7 on the page, and it's doing, $25,000 a month. That's my product. Well, what are you talking about? Like, you're not purchasing one product. Like, it would be like going into Walmart and deciding that you're going to compete against Evian. But I appreciate Evian, but there's a whole row now of water that you're selling, or that you're going to sell a soda beverage, and there's Coke and Pepsi and RC Cola and whatever other kinds of soda that there are. And you're going to come in and you're going to sell orange soda, and you're going to put it in your own bottle, and you're going to go in there and try to argue. Well, not the right word, argue, but you're going to go in and try to compete with Coke and Pepsi that spend, $1 billion each on marketing and advertising. And that's, what, I'm going to come up with that analogy and make it a little better because that was off the fly. But the bottom line is it's very similar. You're going to sell your own soda, or your own, I don't know what people call it. I got a soda and pop. It depends on what part of the country you're in. Or you just call it Coke and everything's Coke. But you're going to become a soda pop maker, and you're going to put your product out, and by God, you're going to compete with Coke, Pepsi, or RC, which I would call the number 3. RC Cola, maybe the number 3 one in certain, parts of the country. So you're going to come in and compete with the other 10,000 products and flavors they have in that soda pop market, which was probably shrinking right now, but you're going to come in and try to compete with the big boys. And they've got tons of reviews and tons of credibility and tons of social proof. And that's really what we're talking about is people buying a product over someone else's product because they've got more social proof, because they got more reviews, and Amazon is ranking them higher. So your algorithm can't quickly enough to catch up to them. And so that's why your goal's got to be to start out further back and just really try to stay there and maintain there. Because what happens, even if you jump up and you do this skyrocket, you're going to jump up here and then you're going to slide down. So what you don't want to do is get yourself into a situation where you've got yourself in a super competitive environment. So we want to keep that number down. And that's why we're looking for these lower amounts of sales that, we can make $500, and, the $3,000 is a good price range to start. Number of reviews. So what we want is we want to find people doing between $1,500 and $10,000. But the number of reviews that we'd like is I'm going to say the low end, we don't really care about the low end, but the maximum number of reviews we'd hope on these kind of numbers would be no more than 100. How about that?
That's cool. I like that, especially nowadays.
The rating doesn't really matter at this point. We're not looking for that. The weight obviously is super important. So let's put it at the 1 kilo. Number of sellers, we only want 1 seller. And I'm not going to worry about the listing quality because I'm going to evaluate the page when I look at it anyway. So let's do it. Let's see what we come up with.
Well, I'm just going to flick over and make this a standard size product. Not worried about who's selling it. I've got the search results of 200, so let's search. See what we come up with.
So just as everyone's aware, what we're using is Jungle Scout's web app, which what they've done is they went and pulled all this data for, I'm sure they're up to 3, 4, 5 million products now. And basically have done all the data and pulled it into one place so you can go through and get the data out quicker and be able to kind of like just use, I mean, ultimately all this is an Excel spreadsheet that, you know, organizes data and you can change, you know, what you're looking for out of that.
Well, this number here is now 10,000, but just before I hit the search, that was up to 21 million. So I assume they've got that many in the database now. So, but you're right. When they first started, there was just around 300,000 items in there. So, you know, the guys at Jungle Scout have done a good job of building that database. Right, so we've got 10,000 results. So which is quite broad. But what we can do now is just have a search through the results.
And so I think first you're going to, okay, so then we want to go back to the next step, which is, as you're looking at these, let's decide right as you're skimming through these that we're not looking for products that are what I call our products to avoid. And real quickly, products to avoid are glass. And the reason we don't want glass, because what if it breaks in the way over? We don't want liquid. What if it breaks? What if we don't want something that's electronic, hopefully the first time, because what if all the electronics fail? We don't want anything that you put on your body or in your body. And we don't want stuff that's super complex, has lots of parts and pieces and boxes. Your product needs to come out and an 8-year-old needs to figure out how to operate it within about so it needs to be not overly complex. People need to be able to use it because all of those things will lead to problems that you can avoid at first. That doesn't mean that you always don't have to do that. That means out of the gate, let's not put ourselves when we don't know what we're doing and add all these other complexities to what we're trying to do by, you know, getting involved in products that aren't a product that you should get into because the risk becomes too high. So risk and widen that gap. Well, if I eliminate this and eliminate this, then I know that I want to be in here because then these other parameters out here can't get you. Your stuff's not going to break in shipping. You know, let's worry about, I got a product in customs, right? Predicted that. But I could predict that if I had glass, that all the glass would have been dropped. We've all seen UPS and FedEx guys act rough with stuff on funny videos online. So know that you don't want those possibilities. So products to avoid. So as we're scanning down this, we can just out of the gate eliminate stuff. So let's do it.
Yeah. Okay. And branded stuff as well. You want to be going up against Huggies and some of these branded products. So again, we've got some liquid products here, branded products, fishing line. You said earlier you want to have a look at fishing, Rob. Line on your list, is it?
Yeah. We could put line on there. I don't, you know, I'm sure there's gonna be lots of line, but you could, you know, just look at it. I wouldn't pull out of the gate. Let's just keep rolling down and let's see something we find really interesting.
We've got some of these swimming suits. Resistance bands, I think that's quite a competitive niche. The more you look through this, you will actually understand what a competitive niche is simply because you've had a look at it before. You know, the more you do this, the better off you come at actually looking at products when you're scanning down.
So, so here's something else you want to avoid. You want to avoid products that have multiples in sizes or colors. You need one product. You don't need 8 products because what happens is you multiply it too much. Meaning you're going to multiply, you know, like this product right here with the leggings, you know, you're going to have to get blue, red, green. Like the most nightmarish thing you can get into is, to me, is to get yourself into a product that has colors and sizes. Because the amount of money that you're going to have to spend is going to be exponential because, you know, you have red and it's times 3, which is 3 colors of red, 4 different sizes times you know, how many colors you have. And so, you know, it's exponential of how much product and money you have to have, because you can't just order smalls. Now, could you? Yeah, I just would suggest that, you know, could you buy something that just has mediums? Yes. But the issue might come up is that when later on you're, you start losing, people start ordering your product because they hope that they like it, and they order it and it's a medium and they really needed a large. So then they're returning your product because they don't have the right size. All right, gun holsters. If you're in America, gun holsters may be good because people love guns.
Yeah.
I try to just skip over, you know, clothing. Workout bands. I mean, these are all things that are pretty prevalent, and doesn't mean you shouldn't look at them. What is that right there? Natural quartz egg Kegel exercisers. All right.
Oh, fair enough.
Fair enough. Never know what you'll find on it. Wait, well, let's look what they're doing there.
Sports and outdoors as well.
$3,000 a month. $4,000 a month. Sports and outdoors. I can tell you this. I would look at that because although it's kind of it's not a sexy item in the sense that it's not like readily available. I mean, it's not like you're seeing that at Walmart. It's not like, you know, so there are, you know, there are some aspects of something like that that may be good because it's kind of unique, and they're doing $4,000 a month, and they're ranked 57,000. But these guys are bringing home $1,000 a month. So
let's have a quick look at the Amazon page. There's a couple of things we actually look at to start with. You know, the title, the images, the bullet points. Are they any good? And that's not the best image in the world, is it?
Yeah, they took that. That's a home cell phone pic, and they could have made it. We did a video about making these pictures like this. Their issue is that they're using their light in the room. I can already tell they don't have any extra light on there. The best thing is to get it out in your backyard in the sunshine and take it. You know, so the pictures are not very good. So tell them about what that is. Tell them what that is, Paul.
This is Keeper. If you haven't got Keeper, it's a free app. Basically, once you sign up for it, it automatically comes up on the Amazon sales page. And what it allows you to do is have a look at the price and the rank over a period of time. This is showing a 3-month period. With the green is a sales rank. So he's been up at sort of 221,809. Then he dropped down. He's currently hovering around 46, well, 57 we saw earlier, didn't we? You can see his price as well. The price is in blue. He started off at $42, dropped it down to $38.99, where he is at the moment, $37.99. So basically what this does is it allows you to have a look at, one, is the product seasonal? If you go over the entire period, sometimes if these guys have been selling a long time, you can have a look at the 1 year, but it looks like they've only been selling for 260 days. You can actually see if it's a seasonal product, or you can see what the history has been like throughout the entire period that it's been selling. In other words, is it a stable product? Is it stable pricing? Has it BSR fluctuated hugely, or has it been fairly steady? So it's a pretty good tool to have a look at. So as Keeper, as Keepa, totally free, well worth downloading. So that's what that is. Product description is just one blurb. So yeah, that's something that we could actually
what did Jungle Scout say what did they rank the listing as? Well, no, meaning that it doesn't
Oh, the quality score.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a 51.
Okay.
So it's not very well optimized at all.
All right. So
100 being a perfect, one being totally pants. So.
All right.
Yeah, maybe something to investigate. Put that to one side on a list. Hot shot wands, inserts, crossbows.
See how fast you can scan down in it. It says there's 10,000 of them, but you're able to scan through it. Clothing tends to come up a lot in this deal, and so you're able to scan past clothing a lot.
Yeah, I just generally just skip straight past any apparel. Rubber tubing. So you're doing 1,000, so you're only doing, there's some lures there, look. So these lures are doing 5,500 a month.
All right.
Paul?
Okay.
Yes,
Yeah,
Cynthia.
What was that 51 score? What's the name of that score?
Listing quality score, LQS.
Okay, I've never heard of that.
Well, it is something that the Jungle Scout web app have actually introduced into the program, and it basically takes into account a number of things. It takes into account the quality of the title, the quality of the images, and the bullet points, amongst other things. But they're the three top criteria that they actually look at, and if everything's optimized from a keyword point of view, from a length point of view on the title, and the bullet points, are all of the images really good, then I'll get a really high score. Okay, if it's not very good, then I'll get a lower score. So they're using some calculation or algorithm to actually figure that out and give everything an individual score. So these three here I've got on my page now. These hiking socks, they've got an LQS of 56, or a listing quality score of 56. These lures are 51. The practice vests down here are 37.
Is the high score 100?
Yes, it is. Yes, I've never seen 100.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
So, okay. Hey, Cynthia, by the way, at the end of this, I'm going to ask you for a solution we can help you in your business. So if anybody else has any solutions they need help with their business right now and have a question, so think up a question for me, Cynthia. At the end, I'm going to ask you something. So your most burning desire that you have. And anybody else on the call, if you'd like to come down front and ask a question like Cynthia and jump into the conversation, absolutely welcome to. And we'll sit here and answer questions so everybody gets their questions answered in their business this week. So if you're interested in, in just coming down front and asking a question, or you can just put it in the chat and we'll sit here and chat about it, and you can chat back with us if you don't feel comfortable being on here. And that's why we're here every Sunday, is to answer questions as well as be able to, on the way, because no matter what, you're always going to be looking for product. Last week was the week we spent on the first 5 steps to start your business. Super fantastic little show where we taught people how to start their business and what to do with their business. And so last week we got to do that. So absolutely some great stuff that we're able to share with people on Sundays and get questions answered. So here we are at the fishing lure area.
Looks like they've got a number of different colors. I'm not into, I used to do fishing when I was younger, but not with lures. So I don't know anything about this. But they all look pretty cool, don't they?
And to me, it doesn't seem like these are like all those different colors and ones. And my brother's a fisherman, he could tell us. But so what they've done is they have a whole line of fishing lures. Now, my issue would be with this is out of the gate, I'm going to think, well, if they're evaluating this listing, we're probably getting a combination of 5,000. They've got $6.50 lures all the way up to $24 lures. And the problem I would think would be is you're now combining. We can't tell which ones are actually selling, which ones are not, because it's because they've got basically multiple different products there. They're actually, some of them are variations, but anyway, fishing lures is going to be a difficult deal because there's so much variety in them. How do you distinguish yourself? Well, that would be like, you'd have to distinguish yourself by, claiming that you have the most super secretive, special lure in the world. And, could you do that? Yes. Can you get fishermen to buy it? I mean, I'm not saying this is not something you wouldn't look at. I just know that the variations could be huge. Now, I'm sure if we went and looked, there'll be stuff that has, these lure packs already together. So let's keep looking. We can come back to lures if we want later, Paul.
Yeah, sure. But you're right. I think that's a bit competitive and too many variations.
That would be heavy.
Yeah, inline skates.
So, I mean, this process here, just scan until you see something that jumps out at you.
Jump on to page 2. Yeah, here we go. So I'm just going to go reverse, just scan up. Barrel, footballs, no.
And then we pop to the next page.
Yeah.
And what happens is it typically will group these, and then what you'll do is you'll get to a point where there will be a lot less clothing, because it'll get you in a realm of stuff. So I just fly through this, man. I just go down in this, and
It's all apparel on this second page here. Look.
And that internet's got to hook back up.
Yeah. Well, that's one disadvantage I've got. I live over here, is really slow, isn't it? So here we go.
Ooh, lots of clothing.
Yeah, too many. Not a whole page.
Sometimes it does this is because in sports and outdoors, obviously if you're in kitchen products, you probably wouldn't be running into as much athletic wear. And those are all items with clothing. Swim glasses. So we're probably getting some fishing stuff now, Paul.
Yeah, it's real. I don't know how competitive reels are, but, or how specialized.
They're very specialized.
Yeah. Shimano I used to work with. So they used to make fishing reels, amongst other things. So yeah, you can actually whiz through this really quickly. So some more line down here.
And we may not find something today, but we're going to pick something here. And if we have to go to kitchen, we're going to pick something so that we can go through the process, which is next. So Paul, why don't we just let's go into kitchen so that we don't have to look at these clothes, and so we can pick something and actually go through the next step quickly, because we only got about 15 more minutes we're going to spend on this today.
Yeah.
Patio lawn will work too. Get out of sports. And I've always found that in sports. I didn't even think about it. It just didn't even appear to me till I did that. So
So what we've done there is just left all these attributes the same and just changed over the category. And it's
Right.
just going to give us a different result. So we've got 178, which is a huge difference to 10,000, because I reckon like 9,000 of that was all clothing. Right, non-sexy, that's what we're after as well.
Well, look at that. Hey, you know what? I like, well, what is that made out of? Aluminum? It's got to be lightweight for flags.
Yeah, flagpole bracket with hardware for flags, aluminum.
Simple little product.
Yeah. I'll pull that up. Let's scroll down and see if we can pull a few more things up. Practice picking locks. I don't know whether that is still somebody can have a look at. Tip bud trimming scissors. I have no idea what the hell that is.
So as we look back, you see something like the bowls. Keep going, Paul. I'm just going to talk about the bowls as you're going. The deal with the bowls like that. So let's say you went to stainless steel bowls. The problem is you want to have a product that's distinguishable between other ones. I mean, how many variations of stainless steel bowls can there be? So you're going to be one among, you know, a couple hundred of bowls, or maybe 500 people selling stainless steel bowls. And the problem is they're all stainless steel bowls. I mean, you know, a bowls are pretty much shaped, you know, I don't know that people want octagon stainless steel bowls. So, you know, how would you distinguish yourself in the product?
See a lot of these around as well, these beer sticks.
Because they're easy to do, they're easy to put your name on, and then that gets you into a product that a lot of people are doing. That's why, how many people you think out there looking for flagpole, you know, aluminum flagpole things?
Not many. The thing is, like, if we can actually, as Rob said earlier, if we can actually sort of dominate the space with just a handful of sellers, you've basically just got to share that money between the number of sellers, as opposed to 100.
I found a magic one today that I'll share with you, Paul, that yesterday that's, I think there's like 6 competitors and there's about, I don't know, $40,000 in revenue amount. And there is not one of them that is an American seller. They're all Chinese, shipping for 15, 20 days to get it to people.
Really?
Yeah. Like, so that Honda gas cap wouldn't be good because you're gonna, it's a specific, you know, kind of, you don't want to be in a product that goes to a specific item, you know, a specific manufacturer or whatever.
Yeah. This is a pretty generic product.
Tie rod for a car, or tie rod thread. I don't know. It doesn't look like a specific card, but okay, keep going.
"12 inches by 10 yards. Do you really want to be shipping that around? 10 yards of material? See, again, this is a timing belt for Husqvarna. Very, very specific.
See that gifts for men and flavor injector. That was good. I love the word gifts. Because right now people are looking for gifts for men. That's a high quality search, you know, item.
Well, you got to think about, you know, Q4 coming up to the big sales season, Christmas. You got to be looking at.
Hey, there's a garlic press.
Christmas. Yeah.
All right, here's what I'm down to do. I'm down to go back, and let's just go back to that. Let's go back to that. Let's what was that? Go back up a little bit. There. Let's go back to that one. Now that's made in the USA. Let's see if we can find a made in China so that we can hang our flag up on the front of our house with a made in China one.
Yeah.
We're going to use this because it's just easier. So let's hop over to AliExpress. Well, let's go look at the market first.
I don't want that. I want to go all categories. And I'm just going to put the basic keyword in there, aluminium flagpole bracket.
I would just put in, well, you can start there, but I would go probably with flagpole bracket. Right? I mean, we want all flagpole brackets because that's what we're going to compete with.
That's basically what it is.
There's a plastic one.
Let's see what Jungle Scout says. But as you can see, there's adjustable ones, there's up and downers.
Okay, Paul, this Jungle Scout Pro that you're in, this is what I've got. So what was the other Jungle Scout thing you were in that showed the listing?
What, here? This
Yeah.
is the Jungle Scout web app.
Oh, I thought I had the web app. I guess not.
The web
Okay.
app, the web app actually you log in online. It's like a web-based deal. So it's not an extension. It actually logs you in. Basically, what it's done is so here's the difference if you think about it. So if you look at the way Jungle Scout works, is you go on the page and pull the data on the page. With the Jungle Scout web app, put the money, you put the things that you want, and it goes out and gives you the things that you want. So it's an opposite look at it. Like Jungle Scout Pro will analyze the page for you if you find something, and then the other one then we'll do the other. So they kind of work in together. Jungle Scout, the web app's about, I think it's $38 a month. Now, what I suggest with these things is you don't get on a year-long subscription. You get it while you're looking for product for 3 months and spend $100 on it. Where I mean, you own Jungle Scout Pro, which works. Ultimately, I think you got to have it to be able to analyze a page anyway. The web app is really more for searching randomly instead of you looking for products so much. It's I guess it's much more, the web app's much closer to what AMASuite does.
But searching randomly can the not ASIN inspector. What do you call that inspector?
ASIN inspector, yes.
The ASIN inspector? Yeah, that randomly looks for products, right?
It does, but it's not, but it's randomly looking, and web app, you're controlling the search vault, the way you're searching. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Meaning, with the web app, you're saying, I want this, I want to have these attributes of what a quality product is.
Okay.
All right, so what do we got there, Paul? I can't see it quite.
Well, one of the things that so I have noticed, so I can zoom in on this one, is the overall price of the product.
It's very low.
Is low. Yeah, we've got one here at $19, which is the only one that sort of breaches our minimum of 17, and they're only making $560 a month. So they're not doing any sales at all. But so the rest of these guys, their rank is pretty good, and they're turning over. So this could well be a product where it's a cheap, low-end product where you are making that $1 or $2 per product, but you've got high turnover rate.
Well, especially if this is going to be your first product level, and you can get a $2 product, sell it for $12, make $3, and you're at the house. Make $2, but you're at the lowest price end. Now, again, is this the ideal situation? No, but for sake of where we're at right now, so let's figure out how many competitors there are. If we go to the top, let's see where the main category, top of the page on the left. No. Well, let's go up to the top of the left-hand page, because you're going to find, if you take out all categories, you'll find actually all of them. So if you'll go to that right side, what's the category that has the most listings in it?
At the top here, we've got patio, lawn and garden, flagpole hardware.
Okay, so let's just go to flagpole hardware. Like, we know that 90% of what we're going to do is going to be in flagpole hardware. It's not like they're going to be in, kitchen and dining. So all categories. So that'll give you just a much better look at the category.
Yeah, because this will be your direct competitors.
Right. I mean, that gives you the biggest round of people if you can find your list. So we got 23.
And some of these are pretty poor listings, as you can see already.
All right. So let's hop back to the, okay, so go to the top left-hand corner up there, and it'll tell you how many people are selling in flagpole accessories.
459.
459. So we know that there are 459 items listed under flagpole hardware. So let's go down. Let's go. Hey, put us on page. Max we want is 17. So we don't want more than let's call it 10 pages. We don't want more than 10 pages. Let's call it 12 pages of items.
All right. For those that you don't know the shortcut, you need to be on page 2 at least. Then you go up to the URL at the top here and find page equals and just replace the number that you're on. So we're on page 2 at the moment. So I'm just going to put a 1 in front of that. Page 2.
And the reason you want to do this is because Amazon smartly said you have to go through each page to be able to get to the next page. Like, you can't skip to page 5.
Yeah.
And by the way, I heard Cindy, not this Cindy, but another Cindy in our group, she posted the other day about how she's consciously making efforts to buy great products on page 3 and 4 now in her Amazon sales. Meaning she doesn't go up and just buy the first guy on the page. She goes back and looks to help the guys like us. So I thought that was really neat. So try to keep that in mind when you're shopping on Amazon. Try to help some of these sellers that are on page 4 and 5 get some rank because their product looks as good and their listing looks good. So if they've done all their due diligence, then why not reward them? Keep that in mind as you're looking now. All right, so it looks like we're on page
12 at the moment.
And it's looks like all flagpole holders.
Pretty much so.
All right, so I'm going to say that this is not a product I would want to do based upon competition.
Yep.
Okay, so we know that, and I wouldn't want to do it because we know that there's more than, I mean, I don't know what's that put us 100. I mean, that's like 150 competitors.
Yep.
Okay, so go back up to page 20 and let's look. I always just go up and make and confirm. If we're on page 20 and they're still the same flagpole holders.
Flags. Let's come back down to 19. There's only 3 listings on there.
Okay, well, let's go backwards now then, because let's go back down to 15. We may be able to find us in here because those are not flags. So you see how that page is? That's a way in which it gives you an indication that page, has worn out. There's no more flagpole holders, so they start listing things that aren't flagpole, and that's what you're looking for. You're looking for them to sell flags at that point because that's not a flagpole holder. So here we are. So basically, what, about 19 pages? Looks like.
Yeah, because this is 15 and looks like it's just full of flagpole holders.
All right, so at 15, so 15 Paul times, let's call it times 20. That's over our 200. And the problem is that what we're seeing with this product is there's not too many distinguishing things to it. There's probably 4 or 5 options on this, but it looks like they're all the same plastic white one, the same, metal one. But what we'll do is, for sake of, okay, let's assume this is page 5. So we're not going to do this product, but let's talk about going over to AliExpress and looking for this product.
That's a good move.
So,
okay,
tell them a little bit about AliExpress first, Paul.
All right, AliExpress is a sister company. It's all part of Alibaba under that same umbrella. But AliExpress is a sales platform for Chinese manufacturers or sellers that are offering one-off products. So it's a similar platform to what Amazon is basically. So we've got a number of different sellers on here. We've got manufacturers, we've got trading companies, and we've got individuals sort of selling their products. Where you can actually buy one-off, and this is a pretty good place to do your sort of initial purchase of products at a very low cost and keep your inventory down. Excuse me. So similar sort of layout to Alibaba, but AliExpress. So you just log in, create yourself an account. You can see I'm already logged in. So all I'm going to do there, just in the search bar at the top there, I'm just going to paste in a flagpole bracket and just all categories, do that search, and that's going to come up with the results. Now, there's a couple of little tips that so you need to have a look at. Or ideally, this is what I tend to do, is where we've got here, we've got sort by, best match, orders, newest, seller rank, or price. I tend to press orders because that will show me the sellers that are actually selling the most. In other words, they've got the best business out there. Okay. I also look for e-packet, anything that's got an e-packet. Now, an e-packet will guarantee you get your products within 20 days. All right, you might have to pay a little bit, but it is a little bit. You know, bearing in mind it is shipping from China. You can see I've got here this $2.29 for the e-packet here. It's exactly the same product, probably a different seller, $1.47. So it's going to cost me $1.47 per item to ship that product, and I can guarantee it's going to get there within 20 days. So there's something else I look for. But this guy down here, we also look for a number of different things. The crowns, they either get sort of stars, gold bits, crowns or diamonds. The more crowns and diamonds they've got, the better the seller they are as a company. So this one's got 5 diamonds, which is a very good company. Look at their seller feedback, 13,345, 97% positive. So you know that this seller is a very good seller, and you feel pretty comfortable buying from this seller because they've got a very good track record. Whereas some of the other people that are just starting out, doesn't mean to say that they're a bad seller. They just haven't got the credibility, similar to what sort of our game will be on Amazon, getting that social proof up. So all of these look pretty much the same. Bearing in mind this is a price for one-off, so it's $6.29. You can scroll down, see if there's anything a little bit different. It's all about the same, $6.29, $6.80, $6.77. We've got some big ones up here. So this is no e-packet. So if you get a no e-packet, what that means is you're going to get the standard shipment, which could be up to 60 days, 60. Okay, that's 2 months versus maximum of 20 days just by paying that extra $1.50. So that's a quick tip, but that's basically where I am. I'm going to have a look at this sort of second seller in here at $6.79. Assuming that all of the prices are right, I just want to show you how to move through the process. So I just click on the product, then that's going to come up with the sales information for that particular page. You can see the images down here. Now, a lot of people actually just use the images from Alibaba or AliExpress or wherever they're purchasing from. In other words, they're just going to not bother taking their own products images and just use the supplier's images. And that's another way you can actually find a supplier. Do a Google search via images and see if you can find the supplier that way. But this particular one is looking okay, looking at the reviews. Another thing to have a look at over here is I just show you how to get that e-packet. So once you're on the seller's page, free shipping United States via shipping method. So if you have a look at that, that's going to tell you what it's all about. So seller's method has got 38 days free shipping, or e-packet, which is the one you want to look at, is 12 to 20 days at $147. So we would click that, some of the other options, for example, is EMS, which is basically the internal Chinese postal. That's $22. DHL for 13 days is $23. They're not options you want to be looking at. You know, the e-packet is definitely the one to go with. So you basically just make sure you check the e-packet when you're actually purchasing. Okay, so we've now got that. We've now got that cost factored in as 147. All right, and basically what you do then is just buy now. But some of the other things to take in consideration, if this is a product that you think, you know what, yeah, I'm going to buy 25 of these just to test out, 50 of these just to test it out. And you want to come back and think, you know what, yeah, this thing's selling like hotcakes. Yeah, I'm making some money here. This is really, really cool. And you come back and you come back to that same supplier and you go, whoops, out of stock, no sale. Just have a look at see how many you've got in stock or available at the time that you place the order. Just under 1,000 items. Is this a hot seller? I don't know. How quickly does this company sell out or turn over of stock? I don't know. But it's easy enough to find out. Just chat with them. Just send them a quick email. Not an email, just communication via this platform here and say, how quickly do you get stock back in? And they may say, whenever. This is it. This is just a one-off. So just be aware of that. Okay. Another thing to look at is how many people have added to the wish list. There's 23 people added this particular product to their wish list, which is fair enough. But as you can see, you've got a quick description down here. Please, please, please do not use these descriptions. We teach you how to write your descriptions and titles. Don't just copy it from a supplier's database. But normally it would have, if you've got a fast internet connection, it would normally have sort of the larger images down here, just so you can have a look at in more detail. So that's basically what it is on AliExpress. Another area to have a look at would be Alibaba itself, but not necessarily in here, because Alibaba is geared up to selling larger quantities. So over on AliExpress, as you can see, you actually can order one and multiples of one. So there's two, so it's very, very easy to do. But obviously the price is a little bit higher than what you would be if you're ordering bulk. Now, Alibaba is a bulk wholesaler, and they tend to sell in minimum order quantity of 500,000, 10,000, because you tend to be working with the manufacturer or a trading company where they're actually selling the bulk orders. But there is one area that you could actually have a look in, and that is, if I can find it, the wholesale. I can't find it. I haven't looked at the wholesale for it. Maybe I'm not logged in, but let's go and have a look at Banggood, because that's another area everyone knows about. Alibaba. Banggood is another area that's sort of an online retailer that you may not know about. Let me change that, because it recognizes the country I'm in. It's showing Philippines in the Filipino peso. So let me change that to United States, and I'm going to put the currency as US dollars, just so it makes sense. I should save that, and that'll make a lot more sense to everybody. And again, we can just put in our keyword just to see what that comes up as, if anything. So this is Banggoods, BANGGOOD.com, and a flagpole bracket is not actually showing anything for Banggoods, but they do sell an awful lot of things. This is one of your favorites.
I love this thing because the variety of products that they have here and the quality of them seems to me to be really high. The problem is the pricing is usually very similar online. There's not a lot of margin in them, but if you do a bundle, I think you can, I think you can definitely find something, and it's a great way to get started because they have warehouses in America and they ship. I mean, they give you the shipping price and everything right there, so you can make a decision quickly. Anyway, if you're ordering 50 of these, You can so see it. That's why I love they have a great fishing section. That was going to be my lead to it, because they have a great fishing section.
Yeah, you see why I've done that? It's and basically just go through all categories, and you come down, and that gives you the sports and outdoors. And I just went over to fishing. I hit the top level fishing category, but you could actually drill down into tools and equipment, fishing rods,
So go to
reels,
tools,
lines.
go to tools and equipment. So also,
So that's gonna
if you get
narrow
bored-
down our search quite a bit.
So here's another thing you can do is you can go on here and go opposite and backwards on this as well, which is go to Banggood first, find some interesting things you like, and then go back and look at the numbers the other way. If you get bored doing that way, I mean, you know, sometimes I get, you get frustrated because you're not finding anything the other way. Just go flip it around and do something else, because all we care about at the end of the day is getting a product.
Yep. So I haven't actually looked through this. Want to assume that you've done a little bit of research on this area. Have you got any particular products that look good, jump out at you, Rob?
Well, so like these little tools, like you see those little snippers right there, and your vest, your thing, like, several things like that might be great. You put a bundle of them together,
Yeah. See, this LED deep water thing, you basically attach that to your lure, and it's so it gives you an LED underwater LED, so like flash, attract the fish that way. And I've never seen that before. This is something I used to do. I used to get my mate to actually hold the reel, but now I've got a gadget to hold the line, so you actually wind it onto your reel. And there's a special way to do that, otherwise you get all tangled up. So, yeah, some neat little things in here.
So imagine, so let's just, so if you put 2 or 3 of them together, that's what you're thinking, Yep.
Yeah, this is a perfect place to get your bundles together. I'm just going to whiz down to page 4. See what's down there. So this is actually say we're reverse engineering. So you're looking for your product first, see if then go back into Amazon, see if there's a market for it, and see what the competition is like. But if you're doing a unique bundle,
what's that little tool on the left, the little scissor thing over there on the left? What is that one?
Stainless steel mini fishing scissors, cutting with spring latch anti-lost design. Very good. Let's have a look at that.
So this is where I would want to take several of these products like this and call it a dad's gift set, men's gift set, like we saw that product come for if I was going into fourth quarter.
Yeah. So you get this sort of dad's fishing set. So you get the little scissors. You can get and another hot products. You got these little snippers for your line. I guess this would be quite good because you can hook your scissors onto this. Yeah. And I did see a little pair of gloves with a little LED light on, so your fingerless gloves. They're pretty good for fishing. So that'll be a great little bundle.
So here could be a great bundle, which is the fishing glasses lights with the gloves. Well, the problem, you're going to get into sizes in the gloves. Maybe not. Or you could do a kind of the LED glasses with the cutter. Those are things that that I'd be thinking of. Or,
Yeah, that'll make sense.
Whatever. Yeah. So we're just trying to combine a couple things there to get a bundle.
Yep.
So that gives you kind of, listen, obviously we weren't successful today. And if we were successful every single time, now we actually get a pretty good percentage of things that we'd actually even look into more, but today we did not. But you're just seeing kind of the thought process today, how we come from, from a product research end, and then where you can get into products on these things where you don't have to, you can instantly make some decisions and get product up and loaded and ready to go. So that's why AliExpress, that's why Banggood, that's why you know, Kohl's. So what I think we're going to do next week is we're going to start out with a small list of things that we can go in and product research out of Jungle Scout, so that we can show you this process a little bit better and how you could put this together. And we'll put together a bundle, and then we'll look at pricing. As a matter of fact, this week we may even get some quotes on it, so we're ready to go on Sunday, and then you'll be able to look at it that way. All right, Cindy, we called you out earlier. Do you got any questions? We can help with anything in your business right now. Hey, actually, I got a question, Paul, that somebody just sent me. Give us the top. They want to know about vetting their Chinese supplier. Like, what are the ways in which they can vet a Chinese supplier? Making sure that they're not, you know, they're a legitimate company, and they're not on the 13th floor with no 13th floor in the building they're in. Did I lose you, Paul? Sometimes we lose this. There you go.
I'm in now. I'm in now.
There you are.
Yeah. Sorry, what was your question?
How to vet a Chinese supplier is the question. How do they tell whether they're legitimate or whatever? So I know you've got, just give us the quick lowdown of the first 5 things you can do to get a Chinese supplier vetted.
All right, assuming that you're talking about sort of AliExpress, and you're actually talking about a particular seller that you're actually talking to, the first thing you've got to do is try and make sure they are legitimate. And a quick way of doing that is just doing some cross-reference work. If you're on majority of these sort of suppliers are found via Alibaba. So if you go into Alibaba, try and find their website, and then try and find their phone number, and then do some Google research with respect to that particular supplier's name, and add in.
Uh-oh. Paul just went away completely. So we'll Paul's an expert at that, because he's dealing with China for a long time. So we'll get back. I'll send you an email this week. Well, he comes back. Maybe he's back. Yeah, maybe even take off your video, Paul, if you come back, so you're not trying to push through video at the same time.
Oh.
Yeah, turn that video off. We don't need to see you. That might help.
Okay.
No, you're gonna have to take that video off.
Yes, basically what you're going to try and do is to try and find some cross-reference.
No, we lost you. Not enough. Well, some of the things that, turn your video off, bro.
Yeah, that might help.
There we go. There we go.
All right. Well, if you can hear me, that's a good thing. So, yeah, basically what you've got to try and do is just do as much cross-referencing as you can, just to make sure that supplier is legitimate. A quick and easy way to do that is just to do some investigation. In other words, find out what the supplier's name is, see if they've got their own website, Google that particular supplier's name, see if there's any poor feedback, poor reviews, any negative sort of comments regarding that particular supplier. If you can't find anything negative and it's all good reviews, that's a good thing. That's a good thing. Another thing to do is phone them. Okay, there's a phone on the actual website somewhere. Phone them and actually ask to talk to them. I've done it a number of different times, and I've asked to talk to the boss. And I've actually questioned the boss. Does a moniker work for you? I'm in communication with a moniker, and you said, oh, yeah, that's our head sales and everything like that. So just do some.
Well, we lost Paul to the sad internet in Asia. But ultimately what we're trying to do is just, so a couple of things that I know for sure that I do is I want to find out the age of their website. Like, I want to know how long they're doing website. I want to do basic Google searches on the company. I want to see how long they've been in business. I want to make sure that I want to read the reviews. I want to know how long they've been selling on Alibaba. If they just started selling on Alibaba, well, that gives me less indication. Here's a number. Here's a super insight into suppliers, which is, what's their response time? Is this guy communicating with you when you need to? If you're having a problem with a supplier out of the gate, there's probably a likelihood that you don't need to do business with them. The most important person you're going to have is the person who does your product and sends you your product. So if they're not good people and they're not communicating with you and you're not getting the information that you need in a timely fashion, or a number of things like that. So if there's not good communication with your supplier, that already tells you that there's probably some problem. So when you have a problem, you're not getting an answer. And so I will pay more for a product with better customer response than I will. So I'd rather pay 50 cents more an item and cost me a lot of money, as opposed to having a horrible supplier who has a lower price. And, you know, as we all know, lowest price isn't always the lowest price. So pay attention to that. I'm also going to go through and I'm going to go back and review every review I can. You know, I'm going to see what other competitors look like in a kind of, another thing Paul will talk about is I think he has for those inside the membership area, I think he has a map in there and it shows where typical people who produce this product are, meaning where are they located in China. So if they're in Shenzhen and Shenzhen doesn't make kitchen products and kitchen products come from Guangzhou, or I don't even know. I got stuck there for a day, so I should know how to pronounce it. But so in another city in China that they make a different type of manufacturing area. So they might, I mean, Asian people tend to like group what they do, even in stores here. Like if you go to an area and they sell like safety equipment, there'll be 8 safety equipment places in a row. They just tend to gather. Saw that in Vietnam as well. In China, it's the same. So people tend to manufacture in the same places. Maybe that's because they can get trained. You know, once somebody's trained over at this company, they could maybe work at their company. I don't know, but that just tends to be the thing in Asia. So, you know, finding out where your product's coming from, where their offices are at. Literally talked about taking the phone number and call them, you know, hey, you know, maybe they answer, maybe they don't. You know, get contacts, make sure that they've got a website that's established. Go find out how long the website's been there. You know, go through and make sure that their pages in the back of the website are there. You know, obviously, you know, the amount of time they've been on Alibaba matters. Now, again, it's not one of these. It's the summation of all of these things that add up, so that you can, you know, get yourself in a good situation. Now, the other thing is I suggest at all possibility, the first number one line of defense is to buy your product with PayPal. If they don't take PayPal, it's okay. But if you can find, if you're a manufacturer willing to take PayPal, it's much better because it's way safer. There's a 99% likelihood that they're more of a legitimate company. It's done with PayPal, because PayPal, if you have a problem, I'm telling you, PayPal will get your money back so quick you won't be able to believe it. With PayPal, you're like the Amazon customer, because you're the customer. You're using their service, and they're like the seller, where the seller says, well, I didn't do this, and then they still get their money back and they win the case. So definitely, if you have a problem and you use PayPal, you'll be able to get yourself into a quicker version of a answer that you'd like to get your money back if there's a problem. So those are just some of those things right there that that I know tend to, you know, help you kind of look at a supplier and decide whether or not they are, you know, a good supplier. Am I still there? Is anybody there? Are you still there, Cindy?
I might be back.
You were back.
Yeah, that was a very good explanation, Rob.
I did, yeah. Not bad for a guy who's not a Chinese importing expert.
Yeah, they're all things you can do on your own, without costing any money. Yeah, if you're really worried about something, then there are services out in China that you can actually use, i.e. send people into the actual factory for an audit. So that's another thing.
Yeah. So if you're spending thousands of dollars, you know, there's nothing to spend $100 over there to make sure that you've got somebody who's legitimate.
Yeah.
Let me see what I got. Any other questions that I might have? Let me see here. Who else is here today? Dave, are you still around with the kids? Dave's watching his kids tonight. And he was paying attention. Also, somebody's asking about whether or not their keywords in their title are counted, or are they more important than the keywords in the back end? And my opinion on that is that keywords, Amazon says that they're ranked exactly the same. So the keywords in your title are ranked exactly the same. And as you'll notice, Amazon is continuing to cut titles. They know that they get more conversions on titles less than 80 characters. Will they let you have more than 80 characters? Some categories will. Some categories let you have up to 200. So, hey, Dave, if you have up to 200, then but they convert better with 80. And so if you're doing that, I would definitely try to keep it under 100. And that has a lot to do with cell phone purchases, because cell phone purchases geared to they're half of the sales going on Amazon. And so if you can't read your title because it's like a spin on your phone, people are less likely to purchase. So smaller titles are better at this point. Bullet points are bullet points. They're not, paragraphs. You got anything this week that you got any questions about, Dave?
No, but I was going to, well, I do, but I was going to just follow up with you on I was talking to Amazon. I've had a big issue with a brand name problem this week where it's been 3 weeks. They can't get my brand name straightened out. It's just been, they deleted it and it's just been a mess. But she did tell me when I was getting ready to kind of solve the problem, she told me my title was way too long and sent me the
How long was it?
It was 200 characters, just under, but she said all the stuff, it wasn't really stuff. I have just a typical, title, but she said all the extra stuff at the end, which talks about the niche and stuff. She's like, that's no good. Here's TOS, and you should probably think about updating it because you're not, in line with it.
Well, your listing could be being suppressed because of that. You could be penalized for that.
Yep, I've had that happen a couple times too.
I'm telling you, people think that somehow I'm going to stuff that title. Listen, people just want to know what you're selling. They want to know quickly. Like whatever your product is, the first 2 words need to be that. I don't care. Whatever it is, it needs to be the first 3 words. I need to be, people are not reading these things. Like we have this impression like, I got to have my bullet points. I got to have more. No. It does not work. So, shorter titles work, shorter bullet points. Your pictures, title, and bullet points. A lot of what you do, because bullet points are here's what you do, here's what you do, here's what you do. Meaning I can read it in a matter of 2 seconds. Because time on page, if they don't purchase, is 3 seconds. So you count that 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, they're gone. How much could they read of your paragraph? But if they could read your title, see your picture, and read 2 bullet points quickly, you can get them for 3 or 4 seconds, you can convert them. If you're much quicker than that, it will go away. So, all right, Dave. Well, we had an interesting day today. I wish we'd have found more stuff in our search that was maybe a little more valuable, but it's kind of the way this thing goes when you do live product searches. So if nobody else has any other things, we're going to get out of here. It's been an hour and a half today. If any of you guys had any questions, we certainly would stay here and stick around with you. If you have any other questions, please post it in the Gorillas Base Camp, and we can address those there and share that information with everybody else as well. Paul Adams, say goodbye. I'm Rob Fortney from Chiang Mai, Thailand, American living in Asia. I don't know about that. It's going to be gorgeous. It's going to be about 87 today, and humidity was horrific this weekend, but it's going to start getting perfect here. At night, it's getting down about 74 at night, and it'll get down, about 70 here in about 3 weeks, and it'll be fabulous for weeks. So, all right, Paul, Cynthia, Dave.
All right.
See you guys later. I hope you learned something, and we'll talk to everybody next week. If you have any questions, well, then you know how to find us.
Bye-bye now.